Sorry, you are.
All right, we're gonna get started. You can hear me okay, Deb? Thank you folks for coming tonight. Welcome to the candidate forum. We have 3 board seats being voted on. We have 4 candidates sitting over here volunteering their time. And today they're gonna give us their insights. We all know that they have responded with their profiles. They're online, as they also answered a 6 questions. You can see those by reviewing those online. Again, tonight this is being taped, so if you want to review it, you want to have a friend of yours or another member take a look, they can do that online. So we've got some ground rules. First of all, I want to thank the board, who I'm a part of. My name, by the way, is Rob Moore. I'm a board member. The elections head this year, I guess is what it's called. But the big thanks goes out to the election committee. That's Michelle. Is Mitch here? Mitchell Biss is not here. Michelle Nelson's here. Dan Newport, I think I saw him. There he is. And sorry, Adrian Reinhardt also. I can't read my own handwriting. But thank you for working hard to get these candidates here. We want to have solid individuals. These 4 are all great. We'll do well by keeping 3 of them as board members. But take a time to listen, to ask questions, and to listen to their answers as best you can. So each of the 4 candidates have about a 3 to 5 minute opening statement about their vision and what their background is, and so you can consider them as a candidate that you'd like to vote for. Then we're going to jump into a question and answer session. And during that question and answer session, please, when you're given the microphone, state your name, how long you've been a member, ask a question, please, no diatribes, and then a question, do a short preamble to your questions, ask the questions so the candidates can spend their time answering that question. So I appreciate you doing that. And we're gonna do a rotation. If you have a specific question for one of the candidates, that candidate will be the first to answer that. Otherwise, we're gonna go in a rotation from question 1 through the final question. Am I forgetting anything, Josh? All right, so Josh has the microphone for you that you can take a look and ask your questions. Look for Josh. And I'm gonna hand this over to Ron since he's sitting next to me. You can stay seated there, you can do it up here, whatever you're most comfortable with. Okay. Ron Basada.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ron.
That's what, that's good.
For those of you who don't know who I am, my wife and I have been members here since 2019. I'm 2nd generation immigrant from the Philippines. Actually, my mom is here. She is for 2nd time being in Central Oregon, so she seems to like it so far, which is great. Graduated from Portland State University with a degree in information systems and quantitative analysis. With that knowledge of computers, I used it to become a professional dancer and choreographer for the past 20 years, I'd say. I choreographed for the Portland Trail Blazers, where I met my beautiful wife, Shana. She was a dancer for them. And side note, we've been married for 21 years now. From there, we moved to Los Angeles, where I continued my career in dance, and she pursued singing. Afterwards, she ended up having 2 platinum albums on a girl group and was on 2 reality shows. So really cool story. She graduated from Mountain View High School. So anytime we needed to step away from the industry, we come to Bend or Central Oregon, where a lot of her family still lives. So we always wanted to end up here, and we're proud to say that we've called Bend our home for the past 16 years. I no longer teach dance or choreograph or dance. I work for Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits. It's the #1 wine and spirits distributor in the country. I'm the area manager for Central Oregon and have done so for the past 10 years. Bend is it's a great place for us. I'm sorry, the Bend Club is a place where my wife and I can relax and step away from work, relieve the stresses, and hang out with friends and have great memories, right? So this past year, I was honored to be asked or considered to serve on the board for finish Alex Fitch's term, because he had to leave sadly last year. It was a great opportunity for me because I actually learned a lot about the operations of the club, the strategic processes to maintaining the facilities and the golf course and how to improve upon that. I learned a lot from the people that were on there, And to me, it was it. I love the game of golf and all I do is think about it outside. So when I wasn't sure, but when I came into the board, it was great because we were discussing things that I really enjoyed about this golf course. You know, everything we discussed was trying to improve upon and help Josh and his team to better the experiences that we had as members. And I was very happy to be part of that. One of the reasons why I'm running for the board this term is because in the next couple of weeks, you all will be receiving a survey for the facilities. It will be in line with the facilities master plan. Like, I think this is a very exciting time for us because it will it'll give a better experience for the members and possible members that are planning to join in the future. And it's a thing where you can, whatever you decide the improvements are, is what you want to, is what's gonna happen. You know, for example, if no one wants to do anything at the club, we put all the money in the golf course, you know, so it's not gonna happen, but still, it's kind of an idea for everyone to kind of have an input in the future. Another reason why I would like to be a member of the board is I believe that there needs to be a little bit more diversity in our board. There needs to be a little more diversity in our board, just with a better representation of our younger demographic and the minorities of the club. You know, I think that it would better the conversation, better the ideas to help improve our golf course. But so.
Thanks for that. No, you're perfect.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Fryhofer. Some of you know me, Dan Newport. The only reason I'm standing here is because of you. And Mark Hagenbaugh and Connie. They said it's my time. It's about time. I'm one of the old guys. I joined here in 2003. I live on number 5. I think the reason is to make sure that we keep balance. I've got a finance background, I'm a wealth advisor. I oversee the school budget here in Central Oregon with my church, so it's church, work, and golf. And for those who really know me, it's mostly church, work, and golf in the 19th hole. But I think that the key is balance. And to me, I've seen a lot. I studied some things last night of what was going on here in 2006, 7, and 8. And everything was really good in 6 and 7. For those who were around, we had 507 golf members in 2007. 34,500 golf rounds were played. Anybody know how many golf rounds were played last year?
Wasn't it like 50 something?
How many?
50,000?
50,000. That'd be double. So we're at about 25,000, 24,000. I had a member tell me this week, I think we should move the dues up to $1,000. We'd take it down to 12,000 rounds. You'd never have to worry about getting your tee time. But the point was things evolve and change, and we are here to listen to you so that we will then help management fulfill what you want as members. And none of us know, especially in my business, what next month brings, what the next 6 months brings. We are in a good financial shape. I've been on your oversight and finance committee now. I'm a past MGA treasurer. So again, both of those times somebody asked me, and so finally I'm saying, okay, I'll stand up here and do this. But the balance is doing what's right for you and keeping the club on balance, whether it's balance of people, young and old. I asked Josh today, I want to look at the demographics. If we got too many old guys like me sliding off, we need more people like you and young couples and families. So we got to balance those things. We also have to realize it costs money. So let's not complain if we got capital contributions, just tell us where you want us to put it. And that's when you get the survey. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you. And anything else, I'll let you ask later.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Kohler. I should have used this thing. And I'm here today because I was asked to participate in throwing my hat into the ring. And we've been membered, my husband John and I joined in 2016 here at Bend Golf Club. We moved here in 2015 from Portland. We've both been coming over here separately and together for our whole lives. And I have deep roots here in Bend, having great grandparents moved here in the 70s and aunts and uncles that still live here. And it's always been a home for us. Every time we come over to the flats from the other side of the valley, it feels like home. And that's been a really important part of who we are as people and developing as humans, is spending time here, spending time in the mountains, spending time at the golf course. I was not a golfer when we joined. My husband played all the rounds on our membership for the first several years. I just started getting into golf when I found out I was pregnant at the end of 2019. We thought we couldn't have kids, and then we have a surprise bonus in our lives, Hank. He's 4 now. So as you can imagine, those first couple of years of him being really tiny, I didn't get out here a whole lot. And so I picked it back up a couple of years ago and started to make it my own, and have really enjoyed being out here with the ladies the last couple of years. It's been fun to be out here on Wednesday nights, trying to get out here on Wednesday afternoons to play a full 18 every once in a while. John and I get out here every so often on Saturdays, and occasionally we play hooky on Fridays and get in 9 holes. So I'm improving my game, but also have so much more appreciation for golf and for the quality of our golf course and the facilities that we have. I hadn't really explored them much before I started golfing here on the regular. And I really enjoy being here. I felt very welcomed. I feel like a part of a community. We have met some of the our closest and dearest people in our lives here. And I feel like that is a testament to the people that make up our club. I'm really proud to be a member of the Bend Golf Club and this community that we have built together. Everyone in this room has participated in building this club together. Many before us have as well, of course, but today we're looking at the future and looking into what will be. And from my perspective, that's the role of a board member, is to understand the membership, understand prospective membership, understand what the financial layout is of the club and what it is that is possible in the short and long term. Listen to membership and then start chipping away at that bucket list of what people want here and what they want the club to look like. So I would love to represent those ideas by serving you all here on this board. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Riker. A lot of people call me Jess. It's great to see you all. Thank you all for coming. It's so great to have such a good turnout. One of the things I love about Bend Golf Club is that we have such a diverse membership. I mean, to everyone's point, we have 4 great candidates up here today. And all of them have great diversity of perspective to really help shape our club and what our next steps need to be. For me, I met my husband Joel in 2010. Well, before that, but 2010 is when we officially were together and ended up getting married, and we came to Bend in 2016, and he was like, "We are joining Bend Golf Club." It's not an option. His first coach hole-in-one was here. He was like, "This place is amazing." Like, let's shop around and see what we can do. We looked at, a couple other clubs, and once we came out here and you see this golf course, it sells you. And I mean, I think that is just what makes me so passionate. He's created a golfer out of me, and I have just loved coming here. I love all of my friends that I've met here. My family is now here. It's just been such a joy. We now have a 2-year-old son who comes and loves to hit the driving range. So if you see some divots out there, we try to repair them, but he's a little aggressive. Keep him off the putting greens for a while. But overall, for me, I graduated in 2010 with a business administration and nursing degree. So I have a really unique perspective, and having worked in long-term care, working with empathetic populations and actual, hands-on experience in the clinic, but then also opening and running an actual dementia care clinic in Woodburn, where we had to open it from the ground up. And so seeing that facility actually have to build, and then having to build out everything from the staff, the budgetary, all of it. One of the companies I was with also went through bankruptcy. I've seen it all, and now I work for a SaaS company that is steadily productive. And so I have a good wide breadth of different business experience that I think would be a really great asset to this board. So really excited to be here. Thank you all, and thank the nominating committee, especially you, Dan. I heard that you guys up. We appreciate it. You did it. Yeah, it's tricky.
Good work by the four of you. We're gonna start with the question and answer session now. Josh is over there. If you've got a question, please put your hand up. Josh will approach you. You can ask your question again. Your name, how long you've been a member, and ask your question and let our board candidates respond. We're gonna go ahead and since Ron went first, Kevin will be the first to respond on the next question. We're gonna move it down the line. Are you guys okay with just handing this back and forth? Perhaps standing up because some of the folks over here won't be able to see you if you're sitting. So who's got the first question? There's a hand up over here. All right, and I'm gonna give that.
Hi, my name is Jim Jewett. I've been a member for 10 or 12 days now. In most organizations, if you look out over the next 12 or 18 months, you can identify perhaps two things that are really important that have to be done correctly, or decisions that have to be made, or programs that have to be executed. What are those two top issues or events or decisions that are facing the club?
Well, not being on the board, I'll be honest, I'm gonna listen to the board members who've been there, who've got the input. I could give you what I think, but I don't think that's important because they're gonna do the survey. We wanna listen to the people, and I wanna listen to the current board members of what they've been dealing with.
Right, yeah.
It's difficult to follow that one up because that is, I feel like, the only answer here, right? I'm not on the board presently. I can look around at the club and identify the things that I would like to improve. But I'm one person and I want to represent the whole. So once I know more about what the people have been reflecting on and what our issues are, I'd be happy to help.
Agree on both counts there. Also, one other thing, Kevin was kind enough to share some of his numbers right before we started. And so for me, I think one of the primary areas of focus, especially with Josh and his team, is to really bolster our membership and have that financial stability just moving forward. I think that's always a goal, being able to have a wait list and have what we term a full club, whatever that may be. But I think as far as that goes, that would be off the top of my head, one of the things that I could spitball as a potential idea.
I believe that the things that we should focus on are member retention. That is one of them, and attracting new members. We had Eric Mathieu here, before he left. I asked him a question because he was the person that would be in charge of membership. And so I'd ask him, what is the negative that you're seeing from prospective members to come in? Is it the golf course? And what is it that is deterring them? And his answer was, usually the husband or the wife is the golfer. And his response was, what can you offer as a club to the non-golfers? You know, so with the survey that's happening, that'll change a lot of things to where we can attract more members and hold on to the ones that are being deciding to go other places.
Bill?
The other, Bill Holm, I've been here since the Arc landing. What was it, April '95? Anyway, my question kind of follows on to some of the discussion. Okay, so you're all, well, except for Kelly, you're all kind of new to the club. You all express a serious love for it and all that, and that's fantastic. So, going forward, kind of following on the last bit there, there was two things that come to your mind since you're new at this team, relatively speaking, that would both attract new members and retain existing members. What is the most important aspects of this club that you think are strong suits that we need to reach?
Well, I think that, retention, we need to look at what attracted our current, base, initially. I believe that would probably largely be the golf course, right, and quality of the golf course. So I think continuing to invest in the quality of the golf course and make the maintenance of the course, is a huge priority. I also think that, retaining members, to Ron's point, that have a golfer and a non-golfer. There could be other ways to engage families, other ways to engage the partner who doesn't golf, through more social activities, more clubs, other ways to bolster that engagement and create an avenue for people to get to know each other outside of just golf. I know as a person who was the non-golfer, it felt intimidating sometimes to come to the club as the non-golfer. And it took really some encouragement from John and some meeting a handful of people on and off the course or around the club to make me feel more comfortable. And it would have been nice to have some more social introductions earlier on when I was at first a non-golfer. I think those things translate to attracting new members as well, right? The golf course is beautiful and sells itself. And I think that's continues to be a selling point. And then as far as, attracting, the non-member, right? The selling it to the partner who doesn't golf, I think the same is true. I think we can do a really nice job of welcoming people earlier on, for attracting the non-member in a social way and in an engaging way, especially families and, couples.
Yes, agree with you on those fronts. For me, if I had all the money in the world, the two things that I would focus on at this club would be the pool and potentially having a more colloquial meeting area. So let's say, wherever it may be, if I'm dreaming it up, a pool table or something that we roll out where people can you just come and you're together and can just meet, other members. This is the first time that I met Michelle was going through this process. And so it's just so nice to be able to meet members that are outside of the people that I play golf with. It's so easy to get insular and get kind of with your group that you usually play with and just book your tee times for next week. And I've fallen into that trap, and this has been a really nice experience to broaden that out. So those would be the two things that I would think, as far as kind of figuring that non-golfer in, that I would say would be areas of focus for me.
Two things that I would focus on would be improving the golf course. There's a golf course, our master plan is to there's a lot of things I'm sure you guys have all looked at and researched. The golf committee, the grounds committee has come up, and with Moth, amazing ideas, and with using Hickson's ideas, it's I think constantly improving the golf course will keep retention. Also, giving other opportunities for social activities. For example, I used to work at the Oregon Golf Club through college. I don't know if you've ever been there. They had a men's lounge, and we would do a lot of things for our members. For example, one thing I think would be a great opportunity here would be like a Scotch and cigar night. Obviously not the cigars here, but everything that like a Scotch night or something for everybody to come and learn. And like that would be something cool. Or like a wine games. There's these like hidden wine contests because I distribute wine and I sell it. We've had multiple games where it's engaging to a lot of country clubs. We have yet to utilize that here, but it's something that I think would be really an opportunity. With this facilities master plan survey, I think it would be a great way to see what you all want to happen with the facilities. That would be a great way to bring in new members, just because there's a lot of us here and a lot of younger members who wish that there were other things that we could do outside of it during the off season. Like I'm one of them. Pickleball's great. I don't swim, but if there was something else like a classroom where I could like take a spin class or take a hip hop class or take an aerobics class or something like that, or any other things like that. Something to do where I can actually come to the club and use it and spend time with and see my friends. That's That's the things that I think I would agree with.
I would improve on the cart path, so it makes it easier for me to get here. I was reading the bulletins last night, the old traditions, and Wendy Gravel, was her name Wendy Gravel? She played the piano. We used to have on Wednesday nights, Lindy. But when I first got here, I also remember as I was a young parent and the Christmas cookies with the staff. So there are other things we can do to bring people together. It depends on, you know, the age groups. But I know we tried the jazz nights on Wednesday. I'm not trying to put more work on Christie in her group, but the point is, I think what I'm hearing is a few more social things, so we get together like this versus just sitting in a crowd looking at each other. And always just keeping the course as best it can. And again, that's what the grounds committee is about. They should help us. And more importantly, just still keep balance in the financial aspects, knowing what capital goes for and what operating goes for. Are we gonna run Beverage at a small loss? Then let the people know that. So that's, I don't know, it's probably more than two, but I think Christmas cookies and Wendy Gravel.
All right. Those are great questions. I'm gonna bring it over to you, Bill. Lindsay is timing, so he's gonna get his hand up at about a minute 45, just to keep you to 2 minutes. Everybody's been there. I'll tell you right now, these questions are tough. You guys are asking some good questions. 2 years ago when I ran, nowhere near is. I don't have the video. All right, so. Bill.
We're fighting over the mic now. Bill Cosgrove, 2018, my wife CA, so it's almost exactly 6 years since we joined. I'm also the grounds committee chair. I want to thank you all for mentioning the golf course, particularly those that want to help us out upgrade it. One of the things I'm interested in, and that sometimes, you know, the answers to the board question is that we look at the other board members and see what they have to say. What's the role of the committee and how much can we do to work together?
One committee.
Yeah, the ground
All
committee
committees.
specifically. So I thought one of the questions actually that we answered was really insightful, and it asked us how the GM, the board, the membership and the committee should all work together. And to me, I think it's really important that there's mutual respect there, but there's also a constructive challenge. So we're all pushing each other to get better, but remember that everyone's opinion is really important, and that the grounds committee, I mean, I would defer to as knowing much more about the grounds specific information than I do. So I feel like that's very important to be able to rely on that resource and to be able to know that you have someone who can give you that information and actually supplement, you know, the best course of action moving forward. So I would say, I think it's really important that there's no way I feel like that the board can just make unilateral decisions without the committees. So I think that it's very helpful to have the grounds and, you know, separate delegated committees that can really be the experts in those roles.
I believe the responsibility of the committee, so we run as a governance. I believe the committees are here to help run this facility and the golf course as best as they possibly can. For example, helping Moth, helping Josh, helping Monty, you know, that's what the committees are, to help them do a better job to get better experiences for all of us.
I've only been on the finance committee and the MGA, but I think we have 5 committees, I believe. But there always should be a liaison, and that's been one of the issues, even us, is having that board member be active and be the liaison so they can bring information back and forth, but more importantly, bring it from the committee to the board. So that the committee is not just wasting their time, they're actually trying to give good, solid input.
Yeah, I agree with my counterparts here that it's, I think the committee is there to represent the people of that particular interest area. I believe that it's important for those committees to have representation on them that have some subject matter expertise and can be in touch with the topic that they're representing. And then I think it's a really important thing for them to bring those issues back to the board. And I think the liaison on the board, as I understand it, is the perfect way to communicate those issues back and forth. And I also think that structurally, I think it's important to have a good, strong relationship between the liaison and the committees. I think if it's just top down or the other way, then it can become inefficient and it can become, frustrating, quite frankly, for those that are trying to improve our course and our club, to have ideas and have, a venue to express them and not have anything get done. So I think that's a necessary bridge, to occur for the committees.
Next. More questions? Come on, don't be shy. Jenny, you. We got like a minute around. Anybody? And board members have any questions? Lindsay?
You'll put me on the spot. I'll
Oh,
ask.
Kim, let's go for it. Come on.
Jenny Noel, we joined in 2020. And I'm also the chair of the golf committee. But my question is more, as I'm listening to the four of you tonight, I read all your bios. It's a hard decision, right? So maybe my question is a little threatening, but what makes you stand out among the four of you for us to consider? Because you all come with a lot to offer. So if you can think of something unique to yourself that you would bring to all of us. Is that fair?
Well. Well, okay, thank you for the question. Let me see. I think that, so. In my past jobs, I was actually the dance team coach for the Bend High School dance team, sorry, it's not choice. But imagine coaching 22 adolescent girls and their parents and trying to get them to move forward into achieving a championship, right? So I had never done anything like that at all. I just taught a dance and I would leave. But to get all of them with different personalities from the age of 14 to 18 years old to come together, I had to learn patience. I had to learn empathy. I had to learn certain ways of viewing how other people are interpreting a question or interpreting a comment, so I have, like, being on the board this past year, I can't give my opinion. I have to think about what is being asked of the club and what we are trying to focus on, and I have to take a step back and say, okay, it's not just for me what I'm wanting, what all of you are wanting, that's. So what I'm trying to say is that coaching that dance team has helped me understand and give the patience to figure out what everybody is trying to say and getting us to a certain point to better execute. I guess that's the best I can give you. I guess because of my time here in history, people aren't afraid to come up and tell me what they think. I'm in a relatively large group of golfers, but I also have a different social aspect. So I hope to bring their ideas, not just mine, because we all have ideas. But I think any four of us would be great. And if you just vote for those three, I'll be okay with that.
Kevin did say at the beginning that he wrote this. I would say that the number one thing that my managers and those that I've worked with have said about me is that I'm the consummate diplomat. I love to hear all of the things that people have to say and have a lot of information before making a educated decision to move forward. And whether that is something that has to be a quick decision and quickly gather all of that information before making a decision, whether it is sitting in a room with a whole bunch of people who have competing thoughts and being able to bring everyone together to have some semblance of unity, or having, a wide array of different objectives and trying to accomplish them all in a elegant solution. So I think that there are a handful of things that, I think contribute with that particular skill set.
You are a consummate diplomat, I agree. You'd be a great politician. But so, for me, I think I go back to nursing school of being able to relate to someone, to listen to them, to assess, and then to empathize, and kind of run through, in my head, that checklist of actually trying to understand what someone is saying, even though it's maybe not my point of view, it doesn't mean it's wrong. I've definitely been wrong in my life, and so, I mean, being able to hear different points of view and being able to understand that, I think is really, really important to being able to make an informed decision. So for me, I feel like that would be the biggest asset on my side.
Get you next.
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm Phyllis Wallace. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis. And I used to be the membership committee chair. I ran the ladies pickleball group. I used to be the hospitality chair. Okay. My question is, for those of you who do not have any Bend Golf Club committee experience, why should we vote for you?
Well, I have golf club committee experience, so I still think you should vote for these three.
And, you know, I think that, we all come with talents that could be used on committees as well, right? This just happens to be the opportunity that presented itself today, to me at least. And, I'm excited to get involved and to serve in this way. I've not been, asked to, or really had a lot of knowledge about the opportunities to serve here at PGC. And I feel inclined to, you know, share my talents where I can. And if my talents suit this group, then I'd be happy to serve.
Yes, also a good question. I agree. So I have limited committee experience at Bend. But I think what I bring is a different leadership outlook. So where I learned my leadership skills is outside of Bend. So not in the board committee or subcommittee, but it's a fully different perspective, something new, fresh eyes. So when we're coming into it, I'll have a different perspective than maybe someone who potentially, you know, it was just something fresh and new, I guess would be my take on that.
I've not served on a committee, but I was a liaison for the MGA, and the reason why I didn't join any committees earlier was honestly, it was kind of intimidating, you know, for me, my wife, or not my wife, but just myself being a new member, I guess for 5 years, it was I didn't think I was ready for that, you know, I didn't think my voice could be heard, but being on the board, it totally changed my mind, or being a liaison for the MGA, right? That has completely changed my mind, because everybody's welcoming for the most part, and we're all striving to make this club course better, right? And I love having conversations about golf. Even when we're golfing, it's like, hey, so how do you feel? Like anytime I'm playing with someone new, my first question is like, how do you feel about the club? You know, just having, because there's nothing else to talk about, because I don't really know them really well. So it's like, hey, how's the weather? But for me, I would love to do that if I were not to be elected on the board, but just finding which one would suit me best. You know, there's a lot, just from the grounds committee to the golf committee to things like that where I find interest in. The MGA, I would love to be on that one. That's a really fun thing to be a part of, and helping the men, the golf tournaments that you share. But yeah, I don't know if I answered that question, but
I'll just add, just because I was on a committee, I didn't get on any committees for about the first 6 or 7 years either. You have to feel comfortable, and then usually people ask you, so.
I think we got that one. Patty, you had a question?
Sure. Patty Weissman. My husband and I joined the club in 2018, and I'm the current board president. So thank you all for coming out and running for the board. My question is, we're member led, we're member owned and run. So we need participation from all walks of our membership. to be on committees, and I think some of that just came up. What would you all do in order to get more participation from our members in things like this event? There's a lot of people who are not here because they leaving or they're just not involved. So what would you do to help with that?
Yeah, I think that's a really excellent question. I'll give a personal example. I wasn't aware of the LGA, and that sounds a little bit late, but I was golfing out here a whole bunch and I wasn't even aware of the LGA. So I think that there is a lot of opportunity here to share what exists already at our club, right? I think we have a lot of avenues for a lot of different people and things that people would love to get involved in, but the awareness is not necessarily there. And so I think, I don't know what the efforts have been so far around trying to improve awareness of what exists, what the committees are, what the opportunities are to serve or to get involved in, to your point. And so that would be one of the things that I'd be really interested in learning more about if I were to be on the board. And to invest in ways to spread the word and share that awareness, whether that's through the liaisons, whether that's through the committees themselves, whether that is more presence on our website, driving more traffic to our website to learn of what the events are and have those publicized in a different way. Having people that are active members that aren't necessarily on the committee, but that are networkers that want to spread the word. I think there are a lot of opportunities for those types of initiatives that could improve the engagement on the things that already exist.
Yeah, I think awareness too. I think piggybacking off of that too, just the publication of it, if you were to do even a meet the committees night or where there's even a science fair project boards, if you will, or whatever it may be. If someone wants to share, just so everyone knows what kind of committees there are. For example, it was just through this actual process that I learned there's ad hoc committees, which was new to me, like the nominating committee for the board today. And so I feel like, there's always something new to learn and share. And so I think just getting that knowledge out to more members would be, very helpful in increasing that engagement.
It's a very intimidating thing to try to be a part of it, to try to be part of the community, for me anyway. And so Kevin kind of said it's taking 6 years, couple years, where you decided.
Kept saying no.
I would suggest maybe a word of mouth, I didn't really understand what the committees were or what they did until I served on the board. So if I'm just here to play golf and practice, I don't really understand what these committees are doing. So I think awareness of teaching or informing a lot of the members, especially the new ones that are coming in, hey, this committee does this, or this committee does this, we help to build this. You don't like that, join this committee. I think that's a good time. Or you could incentivize, if you finish your term, you get a putter or a driver.
Yeah.
Or something.
I like that.
20 of the corporate types out there, there's 3 types of people, correct? How many are engaged? What percentage are engaged? All right, 15, 20%. Then we have the middle part, the disengaged, and then we have the constantly complaining. We leave them alone. But it's corporate, it's groups. I play golf with a lot of constantly complaining guys. So the point is, you really want them on your committees, but they've been here a long time. The point, I think, too, is as new people come in, identify their interest, identify and help them. Not that you're putting them on a committee, but you let them know the things that are going on. That's what I just heard here. So again, maybe it's part of that, but it's only going to be about a third of us that are going to get active anyway. And then you just ask them. Newport always is asking.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan's got a question.
Yeah, Ryan Ryder, my wife Jude and I have been members for about 3 years and I'm on the board right now. So my question would be, maybe just take the last 12 months, we'll call that a season, but the season's kind of coming to an end right now, the end of the golf season. You guys are all active participants because I pretty much live here and I see you most all the time. So if you could just pick 2 things, each of you, just based over your last 8, 9, 10 months that you'd like fixed. And you can't say the cart path, because that's, I would say that too. I just played, my brain is still shaking, but, just, you know, what could you fix? Don't worry about money or dollars or whatever, just things that, you know, we could make the club better, that maybe they irritate you, maybe they don't, but just to make it better.
So I won't use the cart path as one of my two, but, I broke my ankle this past February and was in a cart a lot more, and so actually got to really experience what the cart paths were like. So I do think that's my, like, you know, this little side note as one of the things I might possibly change. But the other two, oh gosh, I mean, I just have really been impressed with, you know, what they did with the bunker development. I'm really excited to see what Anderson's plan is like beyond the, you know, starting in 2013, we've really been just on a great focus with the golf course. So for me, I think, gosh, one of the things would be continuing what we have going right now. I think we're on a really great path trajectory forward. It looks really awesome. And like I said, I think a colloquial meeting space, even if it's in Mulligan's, like we do something in Mulligan's where there's just a space for people to be and meet each other and hang out, or even turning that under that, what's that thing called that comes out of the covering over the deck.
Oh, it's
The awning, yeah, no, thank you. But so even turning that, if you got a windscreen and then some outside heaters and some cocktail tables, a place where you could still come enjoy, be warm, like just have extra space to actually be at the club and enjoy being in each other's company, I think would be the ones for me.
Oops. The two things that I would fix would be I think we need a classroom. You know, I think that's a great opportunity for us that we're kind of missing, like for something for yoga, Pilates, a spin class, a ballet bar thing, something that we can utilize and go to instead of having to pay for something else and go somewhere else. A second thing I think, just lost it. Where'd that go? Oh, yeah, so I found it. So, this summer, I got to play at the Portland Golf Club. And I thought it was a beautiful golf course, but a thing that I didn't see anywhere else was their pool area. They had music playing and it was a place, a destination aside from the golf course to go to. All the families were there, all the kids were having fun, and it was a beautiful summer day. And I think that is something that would be really cool to have here, you know, just because we're so family oriented, and it's the vibe was very cool. I really like that. You know, it was a place where it wasn't just, it was a beautiful golf course, but yet it wasn't quite as stuffy, and it made it a little bit more welcoming.
We cut the grass down on the new bunker, so it's a little thinner. And grow the grass on number 11, so my ball doesn't go in the water. Did have one other idea, I heard it long ago, but I think it resonates with what you're talking about, down where that awning space is on the outside. I have some people grumble about kids being in the club room. So if they had an outdoor space, maybe with something down there, then the families could be down there having their hot dogs near the pool, but you're still outside and you see the green. So it's just the thought of doing something out in that downstairs area.
Yeah, love that idea. I think that having a young child, a lot of the ideas that you guys have talked about are on the top of my list. You know, I would love to have more activity around the pool, right? I think that's, you know, yes, there are places to open the door and sit and watch the kids and whatnot, but it's not really a place where you can actively engage except for to watch your children swimming. So it would be nice to have more of a social space down there. I love the idea of the awning being converted for winter time to something that we can use during the winter time. I also think that as far as the amenities on the course are concerned, I think our bathrooms could maybe use a little bit of a sprucing up. Yeah, I know that's less of an object for a lot of the men at a golf, because they're every hole has a opportunity there. But I think those are kind of the top things for me. I think making it a little bit more welcoming up here for families and in the space for people to be here year round. I would love to use the facilities more during the off season, right? And I think that's a missed opportunity.
All right, Larry. I'm coming.
We're all scared.
I'm Larry Patterson. I've been a member since 2007, even though I've played this course since the mid to late 80s. As a board member, you've talked a lot tonight about input from committees, from staff, from members. So I have a simple question, the one I'd like a little detail to, is as a board member, when and how do you say yes, and when and how do you say no?
Good luck, Ron.
When do I say yes and when do I say no? I would have to take all facts into account with what I'm saying yes or no to before I put my judgment, and then weigh them with how that would affect how it would affect Josh and the staff to do their job. And would it better the club? For my personal, no, but would it better the club for the membership? Yes, then that's how I would weigh it for yes or no. I would take it outside of my own personal views and how many people it would impact, and with that decision.
I assume when we're on the board, you've been there, it's majority rules when the decisions are made. So again, you take the input and you're gonna have your own decision, but depends on I suppose the question you're trying to answer, how much input did you get? Is it just the board? Was it a committee? But I agree, you gotta get rid of my own biases, i.e. the cart path. Especially along 5, because that's dusty and I live here, that's terrible. But the point is, I gotta leave my biases behind and try to gather as much information, and then I go with the vote, and it's gonna be the majority at that point. I'll live with that decision.
So I think that when considering yeses and nos, it's identifying what the things are that are the roadblocks to the yeses, and understanding, like, is this really a critical no? And trying to weigh the consequences of both. I think that trying to say yes as often as possible is it fills my philosophy. And then when it is a no, being as upfront as possible about why and what and maybe it's not a no, maybe it's a not now, right? And understanding what the requirements would be in order to make something happen, so that it might be possible in the future.
Yeah, I think kind of if someone comes to me having either a heavy-handed yes or no wouldn't be probably my first response. I think gathering that input, that information, and then kind of relying on people such as Bill at the grounds committee and being able to get information from them too, if it's something that we could actually feasibly do. Even if we have an icebox of ideas that we just actually have a list of ongoing things that people are interested in, we can upvote them as a membership and say, 13 of us are interested in, taking out 2 of the cups on that, not putting green, not that that's an idea, but, it's something very simple. But something like that, I feel like just to be able to see what the interest level is actually of the membership. So I think for me, taking that information back when someone's giving it to me, being able to tell them it's yes or no based on what we as a board had decided, that would be easy at that point, because I would have that majority decision, but being able to still have everyone feel comfortable to come to me with their input, I feel like would be, to me, the most important thing.
Thank you, Ron.
You got it.
I'm Eric Wiseman, Miss President, whatever. We've been members here. First matter, okay, I'm sorry. First of all, it's extremely positive from my listening that so much of what you've talked about, while you have mentioned the golf course, has emphasized the non-golf course aspects. And you have, I think that the question about yes and no fits into my thing, because at the end of the day, things cost money. We joined here because of the non-golf things, not the golf course. The golf course was an aspect, but my wife was a tennis player and a swimmer. Now, past tense. So you're gonna be fighting uphill against the tradition of the golf course is the reason for this course, this club. And it's undeniable. It's just probably the most important thing. But you've pointed out there are other things. How are you gonna have the gumption to say no when the old farts are more inclined to go with the more traditional answers, when you know that the future is going to depend on the non-golf, the social, the collective things that are not traditional? Yeah, I'm building on your thing.
Hello.
I guess it's my turn.
I apologize.
That's okay. But I was a social member for many years. I came here in 2003. I played 6 rounds in 2004, and my wife said that didn't pencil. So that's what I stepped away. So the thing I would say is those of us that have been around and used the club for the social aspects of the eating, especially during the winter time and taking care of our staff. So to me, that's a very important balance. Because if you're trying to have a decent food and presentation, we've got to take care of them all year long. It's no different than the golf course, right? So all the people who are up at 4 a.m, thank God they only have to do that for 6 months out of the year. So you have to balance it, in my opinion. And so that means resources have to be balanced. People have to be given a decent wage. So I'm with that. And then you have to balance it out with other activities. The question is, will they come, right? If they're not going to come, then it's a cost benefit analysis, and you try and shut them down if it doesn't work.
So again, I think that the non-golf aspects are really important. They're really important to me. They're important to my family. I think they're important to attracting new members. I think that's also a balancing act. I think that when we have membership that maybe we have membership into the future that was very heavily golf focused and then transitions more into social membership, whether it's because they love the community here or they find themselves wanting more activities in the winter, or they're not as physically capable anymore to golf. There could be lots of reasons why that could transition. And I think having the amenities here and the focus on those aspects of the club will make us a wonderful multi-generational club that caters to the entire membership instead of just one aspect of the membership.
And I think that was that Bend Bulletin that we were just voted best golf course? Is that right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like that speaks so broadly. There's some really great golf courses in Central Oregon. So to know that we're voted as the best golf course, like I feel like we can rely on that and really depend on that and hold our status there. Like, I think that stays a priority. However, I do think that if you go to some of the other golf clubs, there's some really nice amenities at some of the other clubhouses. So I think being able to mirror that and see what they're doing, take some of those ideas back for ourselves, be able to improve some of our areas and kind of see what works. I mean, we have, some really great opportunities to kind of actually see how it is in the wild. And then what would work here, what wouldn't work here, while keeping that top spot, I think does remain the priority. So I don't think I'd ever say, push golf to the back burner. Just because I do think that that's really solidly part of who we are. So I think we keep that while kind of exploring other areas that we could improve to raise the bar, whether it's, we move to third as a clubhouse, or, we have such an excellent staff. I mean, having Darren come in and having Christy and her team, it's just been, since we've been here, just amazing. To come into the restaurant has been such a difference. And we've really enjoyed it. So I just feel like finding those places that we can incrementally increase would be the solution there.
These next couple of weeks will be, can answer that question, you know, with the survey, I believe, you know, we can get an understanding of what everyone wants, right? So I understand that there are gonna be some pushback, whatever the consensus is for all of us. But the main goal, I believe, is that the membership continues, right? We need to have retention and we need to attract new members, otherwise this club won't be here. You know, that in things that we're missing are certain amenities that can attract other families and golfers and non-golfers to this club, right? That's what we all want to do. Like, we all love this golf course. We all wanted to have it here for generations to come. But in order for that to happen, we need to keep bringing that door of members coming in, and without anything to offer outside of, you know, classrooms or something outside of golf, we're kind of like, we're just relying on the golf course, right? And so my thing is, we can do both. We can still kind of improve the golf course, make improvements, but yet focus a little bit more to where we can be more attractive to other members or possible members.
One follow-up, Josh is very good at doing key indicators. I've been on the oversight, but I went back and looked since 2004 at our membership and the breakdown. So I went to 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09. Last I had nothing else to do, so I looked at my old stuff. And what's interesting is you bring this up. Back in the 04s, 05s, 06s, we had 500 golf members. We had about 135 athletic members, and we had about 85 to 90 social members. Today, we have 362 golf members, and I believe that's what the club wants. I heard you don't want more than 350. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's what I hear. So we're a little bit above. Now, some of that's those guys who leave here and don't hang around during the winter, which I don't like those guys. I'll tell you that. We have 123 in tennis and athletic. We have 42 in social. So I'm sitting here looking at this. So what I'm hearing is we have to figure out again how to balance that. And the trend is telling me we haven't done a good job on the social aspects, whether it's the movies with kids at night or my Christmas cookies. My kids really like that. Christy, where'd you go? But that's what I'm hearing from this group. And if we can't work on the golf anymore, because that's what nobody wants to have 50 or 35,000 rounds. Actually, it was 25,400 last year.
Thank you.
30% less than when we were at 500 members.
I don't recall who's next. Is it you?
I was just a follow-up.
That was follow-up. So I think it is you. Wrapping it up. I'm seeing that. Josh, were we going to 7?
It is.
We're going to 7. We're at 7. Are there any pressing questions that must be answered? No?
Good.
I'm gonna wrap it up for Jay's. Again, thank you to the committee for finding these great candidates. I'm from Chicago. I'm likely gonna vote twice. I'm voting for everybody. At any rate, so as we move along, I want to continue to thank you for showing up. It's important that we have an engaged membership, and there's a reward for one of you tonight. That's why Josh is standing here. What are we doing a drawing for?
$100 credit for food and beverage here at the club. You have to pre-register for the event, and you must be here when your name gets called. You registered and aren't here.
Okay, so Josh, who's drawing?
So I've typically had Diane draw these.
Okay.
My reasoning is,
We trust her.
yes.
Trust her.
I'm gonna tell you a quick little story. So I'm not a CPA. I have a club financial background, and I think it's one of my stronger suits. So we work really well together, and I generally know what I can and cannot do, and we usually find solutions in those scenarios. A few months ago, I was trying to get something done, and I kind of knew that the way I wanted to go about it wasn't going to work in the generally accepted accounting principles. So I go to Diane's office and I ask my question. And she told me no. I put my tail between my legs. I'm like, how am I gonna get this done now? So I haven't figured it out.
Yeah, Diane.
He My reading glasses.
Tom will what?
I'm always available, for a meal. All right, we're gonna close it up here. Just a reminder, October the 12th through the 18th is your opportunity to vote. You're gonna get an email, get online, get your votes in. We got 4 great candidates for 3 spots. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate your attendance.
Right. Thanks.